Good morning.
Good morning.
Let us open in prayer. We just take a breath in and allow the symphony of nature to soothe our souls. And we say, thank you, sweet Spirit, for this day, for this wonderful opportunity for us to come together as love and light. We know our truth, that we are whole, abundant, radiant beings of love and life. And we say, thank you, thank you, thank you, sweet Spirit. Amen.
Surely the presence of our God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of our God is in this place. Surely the presence of our God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. There's a holy hush around us as God's glory fills this place. Surely the presence of God's love is in this place.
Well, I just want to thank you guys all for coming out today. This is really magnificent that we get together in person. So how many of you, this is your first time being together in person since the pandemic? Welcome back. We love you. We bless you. There are a few of us have been out here the fall in the evenings, and then at Easter. So we just continue to do the best of this unfoldment, whatever that might look like, and know that things may change as the world begins to open up or come back in, whatever the universe decides and Spirit decides that we're going to be doing in the next few weeks. If you're here for the first time, welcome. We love you, we bless you, we behold the living Christ as you, and know that whatever's said today, allow it to resonate within your heart, and if it doesn't quite fit, let it go, and just be open and receptive to that which is love for you. And know that wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you're welcome here, as all of us are welcome. Now, for some of you, the order of service is going to be a little different here because I'm going with the order of service from East, and they're a little different, not much. Today, after church at 12:30, I'm going to have a webinar on the collaborating of unity in Louisville and what that means and what that looks like, and we're going to be doing that for the next 3 Sundays after church. Just for about an hour or so. If you have any questions, or if you want to be part of a team, we have various teams that are working together, trying to figure out How do we use our resources the best to have unity in Louisville? And then on Tuesday, for those that are downtown, the board will have our fireside chats on Tuesday, April the 20th at 6 p.m. Okay, so downtown, if you want to talk to the board, myself, Tuesday night online, you can off our website. For East, it'll be the first Tuesday in May when we have the fireside chats. Okay, we're opening both churches next Sunday. Yep. Now, we're not opening for everybody, so I don't think everybody's going to rush in. As you can tell, even outside, people are still kind of skeptical about coming in. Downtown, we open and have reservations for 100 folks. At East, we have reservations for 60. So tomorrow, the links will go on to register for next Sunday's service. If you want to come to church next Sunday, go and sign up at either one of the churches. I'm speaking downtown. Reverend Gwen's speaking here. Is that correct? Yeah. The 25th. Yeah. All right. So that's it. And now I want you guys just to greet each other. Give yourselves those virtual arm-length hugs, whatever that looks like. I just realized I failed to mention the musicians today. Go figure. Don Watson is our song leader and keyboardist. I usually say pianist, but... And then we have John and Kim D'Amato, yeah, Firefly as our special music. And Gerry is speaking today, if you didn't already know that. Today's daily word is pray for others. With mind and heart, I know the truth for each person I hold in prayer. Let's say that together. With mind and heart, I know the truth for each person I hold in prayer. A friend, someone said, knows the truth for you until you can know it for yourself. Praying for friends, family members, and those I haven't met, I center my awareness in the truth that each one for whom I pray is a living expression of God, just as I am. Letting go of fear, I release thoughts of lack, illness, disharmony, or any limitations. I see each person for whom I pray abundantly blessed. I see each one warmed and comforted by divine love that lifts their hearts and brings harmony to their relationships. I affirm their abundant living guided by divine love, wisdom, and understanding. I see each life unfolding in perfect divine order, enjoying security, health, and joy. From Corinthians 14:15, I pray with spirit, but I will pray with mind also. I sing with praise, with spirit, but I will sing with the mind also.
Our Creator, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from error. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. Our words are prayers, and we are always praying. Our words are prayers. Be careful what you're saying. seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. Our lives are prayers, and we are always praying. Our lives are prayers. Be careful what you're doing. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer.
Probably the cable.
I think it's the cable, yeah.
Is the switch on? Switch is on. It was. Is it on right now, Kim? Check, check, 1, 2. Check, 1, 2. Check. Check, 1, 2. Is it on again? Okay. I guess that switch is very iffy.
Okay, why don't you just put it back so I don't jar it too much.
Okay. Can adjust this to wherever you want.
That's good. Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. Okay, we on? Cool, thank you. What would it be like if you just let things like that pass over you? Pass through. It's not who you are. It's not what this is. It's just something that happened. Something that can be worked with. Something that can be changed. Something that can be overcome. Something that can be looked at with light and love, even though the lesson is somewhat uncomfortable. So we take a moment to pause. You can close your eyes if you like. Take a deep breath. Just recognize for a moment that you have a body, but you are not your body. You're more than that. That you have feelings and emotions, maybe even some that are rocking around inside right now, but you're more than that as well. You have thoughts, you have a mind that is continually working, and yet you are more than that as well. You are more than your body, more than your feelings, more than your mind. Imagine, if you will, that you are like a satellite floating out in space. with all of these antennas sticking out in all different directions. You're picking up light from over here, you're picking up sound from over there, picking up all sorts of information coming to you from your mind and your senses. And then imagine what it would be like if you could pull those antennas inward so that sound is reduced. Anything that getting in the way is reduced. You begin to notice that under everything else, your mind, your feelings, your body, there is a stillness. A stillness that is coming from you and within you. I am still. And because I am still, I am at peace. And because I am at peace, I hold all beings in peace. If you were to know that the yearning of your heart for peace, for joy, for oneness, for completion, is resonating at the same frequency of all hearts, no matter how it might look on the outside, all of our hearts are yearning for the same thing. And when we tune into that reality, judgment falls away. And when judgment falls away, comparison, judgment, separateness, when they fall away, openness follows. And when openness is there, everything, everyone can be seen as love. It is not a game of pretend, it is the truth. When I see myself as a divine child of God, I cannot help but see others in the same way. Take a moment now to rest in the stillness of that truth. Whatever I have brought with me this morning that is in lower vibration begins to fall away. In the stillness, I recognize the truth of who I am. And in the truth of who I am, I recognize the truth of who you are as well. I am free. I am free. I am free. Breathing deeply. The rhythm of life. Breath inward, outward. holding on, releasing, taking in and letting go. And when you're ready to, with a sense of love and peace, joy, gratitude, you can stretch a bit. Open your eyes. And allow yourself to continue to reflect upon the words of the Christ in the book of Revelations. Behold, I make all things new. Behold, I make all things new.
Good morning.
Good morning. I didn't anticipate that.
Kim's going to play a little harmonica for you. This is Kim.
How's everybody
and
doing this morning?
You see some familiar faces. We have some bikers over here. Greetings. We love this neighborhood, and we love coming here to play. Probably come by a couple times a year. We're called Fireflying. And keep an eye out for us. We're going to have a new record coming out pretty soon. And like us on Facebook as well. That's a thing these days.
What a beautiful service so far, and what a beautiful morning. Thank you for having us, and we're honored to be here. It's so cool. And I just love what that meditation was about. The song that started it was called All Thoughts Are Prayers, or Our Thoughts Are Prayers. And to me, the song that we're going to play today, which is by Sarah Watkins, is called Take Up Your Spade. And to me, it's just a big, beautiful spring prayer. So when I sing it, my thoughts are prayers. Are you ready? Sun is up, a new day is before you. Sun is up, wake your sleepy soul. Sun is up, hold on to what is home. Take up your spade and break ground. Shake off your shoes, leave yesterday behind you. Shake off your shoes, but forget not where you've been. Shake off your shoes, forgive and be forgiven. Take up your spade and break ground. Give thanks for each moment and every crumb. Take up your spade and break ground. Break ground.
Morning. See if I can make this work without making too much noise here. Hello, is the mic coming through? I think I'm going to need to use another mic. Sorry about that.
No problem. I'm okay with it.
Thank you. That's okay. That's the way it works. There's always a ghost in the machine, okay? Because I was thinking about that a little bit earlier when I saw all the wires and everything going around. Most people have no idea what goes into setting up even a simply small operation like this, and how easily just one little twitch can knock everything out of focus. And yet, you know, the wonderful thing is it doesn't have to. So thank you for that. Thank you for all of the work you put into that. I know how exceptional it is sometimes. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be free of suffering. And may all beings remember who they are. Good morning again. One of the things that I keep coming across on the spiritual trip, the spiritual journey is, and it always remains a mystery to me, is how easily I forget. We all come here knowing that we are divine children of God, so does everybody else. And yet you get in a traffic jam 5 minutes from now, and guess where your thinking goes? Or the microphone doesn't work, and guess where your thinking goes? How quickly, how easily. And I kind of sat and I wondered with that one for a while, why does it happen so seemingly so quickly? I mean, I can be in this marvelous state of unity consciousness, of everything's cool and everything's wonderful, and I'm cool and I'm wonderful, so are you. And then bam, something happens, I spill the or something doesn't work, and bam, I'm right back into that rabbit hole. One of the discoveries that I made is this. If you've ever stopped to listen to the chatter that's going on in your mind, you'd begin to realize that it's a non-stop story that's spinning out all the time, constantly, even when you're asleep. It's a soap opera. And even if you're not conscious of it, it's directing your life and your feelings. You think you're in conscious control of your life. But over 80% of what we think and how we think and what we feel and what we value is determined by the unconscious chatter that's going on in your mind. You're listening to Days of Our Lives all day long. And as amusing as that might be, the problem is you're acting as if everything you hear is true. And you make it the truth without even thinking about it, because there it is. And not only is it not true, but it's not even your story. So much of the story we're telling ourselves are stories that we've been told about ourselves. What you look like. We grow up being imprinted with all sorts of stories from parents, from friends, from church, from school, you name it. And most of the time, without even thinking about it, we're living out those stories as being the truth, and they're not even close. You're Irish, and here's what that means. You're here's what that means. You're this, you're by the time we're adolescents, we're covered with all these bumper stickers of labels and stories that we've been told, and we don't even think about them not being true because we don't seem to have any other place to go with them. Somebody told us, my parents told me that, my church told me that, the nuns at school told me that, so it must be true. I didn't even bother questioning it anymore. By the time I became an adolescent, I was so covered with stories that other people told me, and I thought that they were true. I didn't know there was a way out of that. It took me another 50 years to figure out there was a way out of that they weren't my stories to begin with. Not only were they not true, they weren't mine. Here I am at a stop sign, looking in my rear view mirror at the person behind me. In 15 seconds, I'm making up a story about what I think they're thinking about me. How far removed from reality is it that I start thinking about what I think somebody else is thinking about me? And yet how much time and effort and how much energy is going into either arguing with the story that I made up for myself or making up another one? Well, when I get that degree, I'll be happy. When I learn that foreign language, when I move into that apartment, when I get a new car, when that relationship works. If I could just change that person out there, if my aunt could just stop drinking, if the company I'm working with would stay in the red, then I'd be successful. If only the government would straighten up, then I could be at peace. These meaningless and sometimes destructive scripts spin out all day long, and they create the world we live in. And they're not even true. And most of the time, they're not even ours. And the stories are always changing. They seem to be about the present, but they're always about predicting the future based on past experience. They're always obsessed with being right and being in control. And of course, you're the star of the show. But little did we know that most of the time, even though we're the star of the show, we're either going to be a victim or a martyr. And one of the most important things to remember about the stories we're telling ourselves is the solution to the problems that we are creating for ourselves are all out there someplace. And you know what? As long as they're out there someplace, there's never going to be a solution. It's never going to work. But every story you've ever told yourself, the solution is going to be some sort of magical thing that has to happen out there someplace, not in here. In the small self storyline, you can't love yourself where you are because where you are is never going to be enough. You can never simply be, you have to do. And whatever you might have gathered in self-love and healing and positive energy, it all disappears the next day because you got to start all over again. The storyteller that you and I have within ourselves was molded from fear and guilt and shame, the need for protection, message of inadequacy, sense of aloneness, disconnectedness from life. That's not who you are. Can you imagine if you woke up in the morning and an angel were to come along and take this little digital tape recorder and kind of pop it in your head? And this recorder would only turn on when you were saying negative about yourself. Like, oh, stupid me, why did I do that for? Whatever. It would only turn on and record that message. And then before you went to bed at night, the angel showed up again and went, pulled it out of your head, put it down next to your alarm clock, pressed the play button, and said, now you need to listen to this consciously. How long do you think the recording would last? How do you think you would feel after you listened to all of that stuff consciously that you were telling yourself all day long? No wonder I feel depressed or helpless or stuck, because that's going on all day long, and it's a continual drain of energy, continual masking of the peace and truth of who we really are. Now, in contrast, just imagine that you were taken to light, taken to effect Myrtle Fillmore's prayer that started a whole bunch of this whole thing called unity. I am a divine child of God. I do not inherit illness. There's such a huge difference between the stories we are telling ourselves and the truth of the divine power of who you truly are to create your reality. Go back for a minute to the healing miracles of Jesus. I always thought they were kind of like magic tricks. You know, you can sort of look at somebody and go, okay, leprosy's gone, cold's gone, withered arm is gone, blah, 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 blah. And I really sat with that one for a while, and what I finally, and my conclusion might change, but the conclusion that I came to was, it wasn't a magic trick at all, was that Jesus saw the perfection in these people. Not the illusion of illness, not the illusion of sickness, not the illusion of anything being wrong. I see the perfection in you. And because my image of the perfection of who you are is so strong and so powerful, it will overcome your perception or your illusion of sickness or disease or unwellness. And so it wasn't about a story anybody was telling, it was about the truth. I see the truth of who you are, and because I see the truth of who you are, nothing else can exist in the light of that. I see the perfection of who you are, and because I see the perfection of who you are, it surmounts, it overcomes anything that looks like illusion or disease or imperfection. The higher self, the truth of who you are, lives in stillness, no conflict, no story. The power, the strength of unconditional love, the power of light over darkness, the power of love over fear. There's no story that can encompass those realities. It's too big, not even your imagination. For example, that wonderful story, that wonderful parable called The Prodigal Son, which I know you're all familiar with, so I won't go into a whole lot of detail. But the kid gets his inheritance, he goes out and he squanders it all, and he finally winds up feeding the pigs in a foreign country, and the pigs are eating better than he is. And he decides, well, he's going to go home to the father again. He makes up this little speech, Father, I have sinned against you and against God, blah, 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 blah. Before he can even get the words out, the father says, get him a robe, get a ring on his finger, kill a fatted calf. In other words, in some ways, the prodigal never left home because he never left the Father's love. The Father's love was always completely unconditional, no matter what was going on with him. Never left the Father's unconditional love. That's the truth. The other part is a story we're telling. Oh, I did this and I did that and I did this and the truth of the matter is, beyond everything you did, beyond everything you thought, beyond everything that happened, the truth of that is right here, right now. The truth is that you never left my love. What would it be like if we lived in that state of understanding and grace? Just for 5 minutes. What would it be like to know whatever it is you need is right here before you? What would it be like to know that the lessons you've decided to learn, the healing you've decided to put into effect is right here, right now? It's not a story, it's not a maybe, it's not a coulda, woulda, shoulda. It's the truth of who you are in this moment. What would it be like if at a moment of fear and doubt and turmoil and anger you were to remember, I could see peace instead of this? I could get out of whatever story I'm telling myself and be open to the grace and truth, transformation of surrender. What would it be like if I could recognize that what is causing my pain and my distress at any moment is holding on to a story that's just not true? What would it be like if instead of trying to beat up my self-centeredness into submission, which only gives it more energy, by the way, if I just became aware of the areas in my life that are already working? Spirit once spoke to me one day and said, why don't you start working with what's already working instead of trying to change all those things that are not working? Because all the things that didn't work in my life, they're still not working. And all of the energy I expended trying to make them work was kind of down the drain. Why don't you start working with what's already working? And then as you do that, what happens is the negativity seems to begin to disappear because I'm not giving it any more energy. It's like tying off a dead branch on a tree. Instead, I just tie it off and I forget about it. I let it go because what's going to happen is going to fall off. The negative energy that I'm producing in my life, if I focus on the positive energy in my life, is simply going to fall off and fall away. It dies by attrition. I don't have to do anything about it. All I have to do is stop thinking about it. Stop giving it energy. Stop giving it my anger. Stop giving it my outrage. Stop giving it my negativity. You know, some people never get to the point of realizing that it's just a story and a script that they're living, that it's not true to begin with. Living a life of unawareness. And I think that's what Thoreau meant it when he said, "Oh God, to have reached the point of death and to realize that I have never lived." And that's not a judgment on somebody else. That's simply an awareness that we know people like that, and we've been there ourselves. So what would it be like if we held them in the light of truth, of who they are, and let them decide where they want to go with that? You are the meaning maker of your life. You are the one who puts values on things. You are the one who creates the value. What are you telling yourself this morning that's not true? What script are you writing that's holding you in limitation? What's important to me now? Is it the story I'm telling myself, or the reality of who I am, the truth of my heart? The little prince said, "It is only with the heart that one sees rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye." Spirit of God, let me release my false perceptions and limited thinking. Let me see myself as whole. Let me see myself and all other people as whole, as your child, as a being of light, a being of love. And let me see that always, no matter what words might be spoken or actions taken, that the truth of who I am outshines all of those. That's the whole message. That's what the whole thing is all about. You don't have to live in limitation. You don't have to be stuck in the stories you're telling yourself or that other people told you. You are never alone. You never have to live in fear, shame, or guilt. None of that is who you are. You are a divine child of God. End of story. Thank you all.
Yeah, this is what happens when you got two different orders of service. You don't know where you're at. So, we're going to say our prosperity proclamation together. You have offertory boxes in the back. You can drop your offering in there as you leave. There's also flower sale order forms back there. So, for those of you that are familiar with the teenagers selling the flowers, the youth and family are selling flowers at both churches this year. So you can order your flowers, put your check, credit card, whatever, however you want to pay for it, in the basket for that one. And we will deliver them on the Saturday before Mother's Day, which is May 9th. Thank you, Sabrina. And they'll be delivered at both churches. So we'll have, if you order them from downtown and you want to pick them up downtown, feel free to do that. If you order them and you want to pick them up here, feel free to do that. Doesn't matter, just either way, we'll get them to you. All right. So as we take our gifts into our hands and into our hearts, whatever that is today, we say together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And we give thanks for all the blessings that move in and through Unity in Louisville into both communities and outward into the greater community as love, light, with peace radiating throughout the world, throughout the universe. And so it is.
We could not ask for a more perfect bird collection today for this song. You'll see why at the end of the song. And you might know this song. It's called Holy Now. Everything is Holy Now by Peter Mayer. One of our favorites. Let's pull that up real quick. When I was a girl each week, on Sundays we would go to church, pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread. Everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, and Jesus made the water wine. I remember feeling sad, miracles don't happen still, and now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything, everything, everything's a miracle. So small, but an even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. Holy water was rare at best, barely where my fingertips. Now I have to hold my breath. It's like I'm swimming in a sea of air. Used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down. But I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Questioning child's face and say it's not a testament. Will that be very hard to say? See another new morning come, say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush, and singing like a scripture verse made me wanna bow my head. I remember when church let out. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Used to be a world half there, heaven second rate, hand me down. But I walk with the reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Holy, holy. Ooh. Everything is holy now. Thank you, everybody.
Everything is holy now. All right, if you've ever been a chaplain, if you're a chaplain emeritus, a chaplain now, a oneness blesser, everybody let's just stand up and give each other love and light and just share that energy together. And we can all do it. Let's just take a moment and bless each other. Bless the world. Because everything is holy now. And we are the holy of holies. We are the love and the light. We're going to do our prayer for protection, then followed by our peace song. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine.